greatest will in this kingdom. No one can best me in battle. My resolve is unshakable. No amount of bleeding can dissuade me from slaughtering my enemies. Does this not signify that my will is the best there is?
The Sharky King's aides seem all too willing to agree.
Then why does it not work?
You watch carefully as the Sharky King taps 4 shells in order around the arch.
It matters not. Tomorrow we invade the Mer people's territory. For without the Trident's power, that old fool Neptune and his weakling followers will fall before our might. Goodwill. Ha! Mine is superior to all.
As he leaves, the Sharky King motions for his guards to remain. Having an idea, you approach your somewhat reluctant steed and slap him hard on the back. Look at him go! The guards are momentarily distracted. Now is your chance. You push on the shell. It moves back slightly into the wall. Without delay, you snatch up the trident before the guards return to their posts. It appears as if the guards are losing interest in the seahorse. You had better get out of here quickly. Oh no, the seahorse has followed you all the way back to the secret entrance. You remount the seahorse. Your seahorse glides onward, flicking its little tail faster than ever. You grip the reins tightly, glancing nervously over your shoulder every so often to check for pursuing sentries. As you make distance, your anxiety melts into relief. But it is to be short-lived. Finally, you see the light at the end of the tunnel. You quickly make a dash for the exit. As you emerge, you realize you have only seconds before the guards come out after you. And even if you could outrun them, you're sure the commotion would attract the sentry's attention. Then you'd be in real trouble. Suddenly, you hear a strange voice in your head.
He of noble and goodwill, royal trident thou may wield.
You wonder what that did, if anything at all. Oh. The trident guides you back to Neptune's realm. You approach the king. He smiles and graciously accepts his trident from you. Then he calls everyone to attention.
To commemorate the return of my trident, and to honor King Graham's success, I hereby call for a celebration.
The celebration lasts for some time. You eat, drink, and have a merry time with many of the mer people. After a few hours, the festivities wind down, and you finally have a chance to speak with Neptune alone.
The gems of nature represent the 3 stages of life. Water gives birth to life, and thus what I have given you is the first of 3. Second is the growth gem, or air gem, for air sustains life and permits it to grow.
How might I find the growth gem?
I know only that its location is as far above the surface of the land as we are below it. Beyond that, I cannot aid you.
A smirk crosses Neptune's face momentarily.
You might say that air is not exactly my element.
You decide that the beverages consumed were to blame for that one.
And the third gem, Your Majesty?
Third is the death gem.
The completion of life and the natural order of things. The Door of Destiny understands this now, as did the ancients who imprisoned the soul within. As for that gem's location, I had hoped you would have no business venturing to the castle. Kolima was once ruled from that place, but sadly her people have not seen their lord for quite some time.
How long a time?
Oh, a good 4, maybe 5 decades.
Decades? Surely then...
If you please, I would prefer not to dwell upon this subject. You have done me a great service this day, and I thank you. Good luck, King Graham, and good speed.
You depart the underwater kingdom and head back towards the surface. What an incredible experience. You are certain you'll never forget the adventure you just had. Additionally, you have acquired one of the gems. As you resurface, you realize that the magic which allowed you to breathe underwater has now subsided.
Here, this might help your sneezing.
Oh, thanks. Here, you can have this back now.
You retrieve the partially used cloth from the haystack.
Feel better?
Yeah, it's so good to be able to
You take the silver needle.
Yes?
Could you recommend another good book?
There!
This book is entitled Legends. Browsing through it, you notice an interesting excerpt.
Good afternoon. What can I do for you, dear?
Hello. Do you sell anything that would aid in ascent up a mountain?
Unfortunately, I do not sell climbing equipment, or anything of that sort. This is really a specialist store.
Oh.
However, I do have an item which you might find useful. This lamp is said to contain a genie. Never tried it myself, of course. I do not believe in using magic to solve my problems. Nature has made us as we are, and we should be glad of that.
Uh-huh. How much for the lamp?
The old lady hesitates. You sense she wants more from you than your money. You hope it is not anything that you will regret.
Well, seeing as how you are a man who seems adept at taking care of himself, perhaps you could do a small favor for me?
Somehow, you knew she was going to say that.
I once owned a beautiful nightingale, quite rare around here, but the sentimental value far outweighs its monetary worth. That foul old witch Hagatha has stolen it from me, probably to use in some concoction or another.
Her nose screws up in disgust.
So, if you could be a sweetie and retrieve it for me, I will trade you the lamp for the bird. Agreed?
Well, I will see what I can do.
Do be careful. If Hagatha should spot you out of her good eye, then you'll be in for it.
It is a human skull with a radiant blue stone wedged into its eye socket. It is a human skull with large eye sockets. That has The brooch has an enormous sapphire in. It is a simple but carefully woven pendant. It is a slightly luminescent blue stone about the size of your palm. The center stone. You feel a As you attempt to place the birth gem into the skull, you discover that it does not fit properly. Instead, it juts out uselessly like a bulging eyeball. You gently tap the birth gem with the mallet, hoping not to break it. It budges only slightly. You give it a harder hit. It moves a bit more. You hold your breath and give the gem an almighty thwack. It pops into the skull. As you face the skull towards the image of the bat above the cave, you notice that its wing has faded slightly. However, you suspect that whatever danger the bat represents is still in effect. You turn the rightmost skull so that it faces the bat symbol above the cave entrance. The power of the two skulls combined has caused the bat symbol to disappear. You sense whatever danger it represented has now subsided. As you enter, you are almost overwhelmed by the foul stench which molests your nostrils. It is obviously coming from whatever Hagatha is cooking in that large cauldron of hers. There are some things of interest on the other side of the cave, but you have no means of crossing over there safely at this time. A caged nightingale sits on the floor near the northern cave wall. The light from outside barely penetrates the interior of this cave. So long as you keep your distance, Hagatha shouldn't notice you. You need to get... Being as quiet as a mouse, you slide your hand inside the cloak to discover a deep pocket. Amongst sticky and disgusting spell ingredients, you find a tiny silver key and a peculiar golden ring-shaped device. You slide the silver key into the lock. It fits. You turn it silently, and the chain falls to the ground. You silently drop the cloth over the cage. Without making a sound, you take the nightingale into your possession. You hear
the fluid of blood with bone.
You strike the skull with all your strength, and it shatters easily. The birth gem clatters to the ground, along with a multitude of bone fragments. You reacquire the birth gem. You offer the nightingale to Angelina. The sheer elation on her face almost makes the whole risk worth the while. She snatches it from you and proceeds to fuss over the bird. You wait for a moment, but it seems she no longer notices you.
If you don't mind, about the lamp you promised me in trade for the nightingale?
The shopkeeper looks up at you vaguely. She gradually remembers that there is another being in her world.
Yes? Oh, yes, take it. You'll have no beginning of use with it.
Don't you mean no end of use?
Of course. Whatever you say, dear.
You hear Angelina muttering cheerfully to herself as she exits.
Finally, I have the final ingredient for that marvelous youth potion. I'm going to beat you to the punch, my dear Agatha. Serves you right for hoarding this sweet, juicy thing to yourself.
You feel a nauseous tinge in your stomach. Well, at least the lamp is now yours. You take the old lamp. You rub the lamp and wait expectantly, but nothing happens. You're about to give it another try when a small puff of smoke appears at the end of the spout. It clears, revealing a note. As you remove it, the lamp disappears. You read the scroll. Upon closer examination, you discover that the statue hides a small latch. You flip the latch and watch in amazement as a trap door opens up from the floor. Placing your grubby, you close the trap door behind you. You read the letter sitting on the desk. As you pick up the carpet, you notice a small label which reads, "Property of Al Den." There might be a faded letter or two in there, but you cannot be sure. Above you, from the back room, you discern Angelina's voice.
I did it! I did it! The youth potion is finally finished. All I need to do now is drink it.
Angelina, show yourself, you scurvy wench.
Agatha? My dear! What an unexpected surprise!
Don't you play the fool with me. I know you stole it.
Stole? Really, I do not know.
Silence! For your lies and deceit, there can be only one consequence.
No, please! I can explain!
I said silence! Oh, and one more thing. Your invitation to join us is revoked. What is this? Ah, the youth potion at last. Oh no! Drat! Now what was that spell for removing floorboards? Curses! I shall have to go back and look it up.
You fish around in the pile of down and successfully retrieve the youth potion. Cautiously, you open the trapdoor ever so slightly and peer into the room above. Hagatha is nowhere to be seen. You make your exit from the basement. You flick the latch. The trapdoor closes and conceals itself into the floorboards once more. You unroll the magic carpet, lay it on the ground, and sit on it. The carpet begins to rise skyward. As you ascend higher, you realize that the carpet is beyond your control. It glides through the air on a seemingly predetermined course. You dangle the shimmering opal in front of the snake. It soon falls hypnotized in typical snake fashion. The snake snaps out of its sleep. It's too dark. You can't. You reach into the cavity and feel around. What is this? You've discovered a button hidden inside the rock. In an instant, a man stands beside you. He appears to be somewhat of an adventurer, much like yourself.
Greetings, I am King Graham of Daventry.
The newcomer nods in greeting. Without a word, he respectfully appraises you. You notice about him the manner of one who has only recently learnt the meaning of heroism.
From where do you hail, good sir?
The man